Late February 2026, the Strait of Hormuz goes dark. The crossfire of the U.S. Israel-Iran war effectively seals the waterway, instantly removing 20 million barrels of daily crude oil from the market. That single blockade chokes off roughly 1/5 of the entire planet's daily petroleum consumption. This map shows the traditional flow of Middle Eastern oil. 80% of this volume funnels directly into the booming, energy-hungry economies of Asia. Middle Eastern instability now strikes hardest thousands of miles away, in the manufacturing centers of the developing world. The Philippines is the prime example of this new vulnerability, importing 98% of its oil from the Middle East. When the strait closed, the clock started. Manila has exactly 45 days of oil reserves left before the pumps run dry. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. responded by signing Executive Order 110, making the Philippines the first country on Earth to declare a formal state of national energy emergency. This declaration signals a localized fight for national economic survival. Look back to the 1973 Arab oil embargo. That crisis famously generated massive fuel lines, but it removed only 4.5 million barrels a day from the market. That shortage crippled Western economies and defined an era of stagflation. Decades of energy diversification in the West left a vacuum now filled by rapidly industrializing Asian nations, who inadvertently absorbed the global supply risk. The Dallas Fed model projects this closure could trigger a 2.9% plunge in second quarter global GDP. Tracking West Texas Intermediate crude, prices could spike to $98 a barrel, potentially reaching $132 if the blockade persists. Developing Asia now carries the economic risks of Middle Eastern instability, previously borne by the West. Macroeconomic models don't capture the physical reality in a city deprived of fuel. This is EDSA, completely paralyzed by its dependency on combustion engines. Gasoline prices breached 100 pesos per liter, while diesel surged past 130 pesos. 425 gas stations shut down nationwide, while major carriers like Cebu Pacific and Philippine Airlines grounded fleets to conserve remaining oil. Transport workers launched nationwide strikes as operating costs became unbearable for local drivers. The government mandated 4-day workweeks for public employees to force cars off the roads and curb national consumption. Without a physical flow of energy, a modern economy immediately begins to cannibalize its own infrastructure to survive. Manila scrambled for supply-side patches, activating 20 billion pesos from the Malampaya Gas Fund for emergency fuel imports. The Department of Energy instructed utility grids to maximize coal-fired power generation, overriding recent climate commitments. Petron Corporation utilized a U.S. sanctions waiver to order 700,000 barrels of Russian oil, currently at sea. Short-term survival has necessitated the sacrifice of long-term climate goals and international geopolitical alliances. The 2026 crisis exposes a dangerous blind spot in the global energy transition. The rapidly growing manufacturing engines of the developing world remain completely tethered to a single, highly volatile geographical choke point. Economic destinies in vulnerable nations will remain at the mercy of distant wars until they secure independent, localized power.